Colbert's career just ended. Let's see what these amazing comedians are saying about it. Let's go.
So the one and only Rob Schneider joins us now. You know, I do have to sort of think it's kind of funny that they say this is a financial decision. Yeah, it's a financial decision because your show was terrible and nobody was watching it and you were losing money.
Well, there should be no fuzz on this at all, Griff. The Russians got Colbert fired. And I think I'm willing to testify if I get complete immunity from the Trump administration and from CBS. I'm willing to testify. No, but I just found out this morning also, if you go on social media, that a district court judge has prevented CBS from firing Stephen Colbert, which I don't think is fair either.
You know what's interesting is these Democrat politicians like Elizabeth Warren, a few others, have come out and made statements in defense of Stephen Colbert saying, hey, you fired him for political reasons. I know that you're an outspoken conservative. I imagine there are some jobs maybe that you were passed over for because of your views.
I just want to say, if Elizabeth Warren wants to pick up the tab for what CBS has been losing, just take away from her private jets, and she could put it towards Stephen Colbert's salary.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, I mean, it's a lot tougher for, I love it when I and other, conservative comedians get accused of grifting off the right. Well, there's a lot more grift, as we've noticed, at the U.S. aid from the Democrats,
I love Rob Schneider. This guy is just surreal. He just tells it like it is, and he's super funny at the same time. Absolutely amazing to see.
As I sit here in Boston and outdoors, not paying for a room to rent to do this interview, yes, I've lost. Of course, I've lost potential for money. It's a lot easier to get. That Colbert never had me on his show. Neither has Jimmy Kimmel, or I guess I was on a couple of times early. But look, it's. Here's what happens. Like, Colbert already cut the pie. It's a pizza. He already cut it in half. His potential audience, he cut it in half with it, just by cutting out all conservatives at all, not caring about, the 47 states that may have a different opinion than the Democratic Party of open borders and women have junk between their legs. We have to, and so he had half the pie already gone, and then he has to divide that pizza in 3 slices with Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, and then so he's working for a third of a piece of pie, and that's just. It's not going to pay the bills. They have 200 employees.
I agree with Rob Schneider right there. I think all of these late night show hosts have gone too far left and have alienated basically half of the country, and that's sad to see.
And frankly, I have more people will watch this on Twitter than for his advertising group that everybody on TV seems to still think is important, that 18 to 35 group. And it's just that audience isn't there anymore. The late night show is a relic. But the thing about it, which was special when I was a kid, when we were my family were all climbing mom and dad's bed and watching TV, Johnny Carson, was he made the show for everybody. He didn't alienate anyone, and you never knew who he kind of thought that these guys all leaned left, like most of the media, but. You never knew 100%. And that's kind of a beautiful thing. And I hope it goes back to that.
Yeah, and
I agree. Rob Schneider is also a great comedian. I love his take on this. And I hope all of these leftist late night show hosts realize that they are going to lose their career as well if they don't try and come back into the middle.
Stephen Colbert, the unfunniest flog on television, was sacked this week. Yes, the Trump deranged activist masquerading as a comic had his show cancelled by CBS. I'd forgive Colbert for his lies and viciousness, for his loathing of more than half his countrymen and spewing endless venom, if he was actually funny. But for years, CBS has unleashed on a dwindling audience an insufferable lefty who's about as funny as an ingrown toenail.
The vaccine.
Oh my gosh, what is that? What are they doing? No wonder their rating was so low. Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It went on for some time. I've cut that mercifully short. No wonder that hot mess was losing $40 million a year. How can you have so many writers and producers and consistently produce nothing but trash? Even when Colbert had someone remotely funny and insightful on, and that was rare, he would go out of his way to shut them down. But his show did give us this beautiful moment, one that Colbert hated. Remember this exchange about the origins of the COVID virus with Jon Stewart?
Okay, let's see it.
What do you mean by that? Do you mean like perhaps there's a chance that this was created in a lab? There's an investigation.
A chance?
Well,
oh my
if
God.
there's evidence, I'd love to hear it.
There's
I don't know.
a novel respiratory coronavirus overtaking Wuhan, China. What do? Oh, you know who we could ask? The Wuhan Novel Respiratory Coronavirus Lab. The disease is the same name as the lab. That's just a little too weird, don't you think? And then they ask those scientists, they're like, how did this... So wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan Respiratory Coronavirus Lab. How did this happen? And they're like, a pangolin kissed a turtle. And you're like, no, the name of your lab. If you look at the name, let me see your business card. Show me your business card. Oh, I work at the coronavirus lab in Wuhan. Oh, because there's a coronavirus loose in Wuhan. How did that happen? Maybe a bat flew into the cloaca of a turkey and then it sneezed into my chili and now we all have coronavirus.
No.
Absolutely amazing. You can tell who is the better host of the two. Obviously, it is Jon Stewart. I don't agree with all of Jon Stewart's take, but in this one, I'm at side with him. You can tell that he's a great comedian. He's super funny on his show.
CBS just canceled The Late Night with Stephen Colbert, just days after Colbert took a swing at his own network for settling with Trump. Listen.
This kind of complicated financial settlement with a sitting government official has a technical name in legal circles. It's big fat bribe. This all comes as Paramount's owners are trying to get the Trump administration to approve the sale of our network to a new owner, Skydance. Some of the TV typers out there are blogging that once Skydance gets CBS, the new owner's desire to please Trump could put pressure on late-night host and frequent Trump critic Stephen Colbert.
The network claims it was a purely financial decision.
I don't think it was politically motivated at all. Removing Stephen Colbert from the show was a financial decision. That's what I think. If you're losing tons and tons of money, if your ratings are so low and you don't get any ratings, basically, that totally makes sense that your show would be cancelled. You gotta do better, honestly.
And Colbert's last show will be next spring. So, Clay, is Gutfeld now officially the king of late night?
God, this is probably a really tough story for you to have to do to give Gutfeld praise. I know of all the things that you could be doing on the show, this is probably not the peak of your choice.
It pains me.
I bet that CNN or MSNBC hires this guy and tries to put him up against Gutfeld head-to-head, and guess what's going to happen? Gutfeld's going to crush him even worse because he's not funny. Look, the goal of late-night television for my entire life, when we were growing up, he took over David Letterman's show. David Letterman made fun of everybody equally. Everybody liked Letterman. Everybody liked the Leno, Johnny Carson. All of these shows combined to unite everybody, Democrats, Republicans, Independents. He went woke and he destroyed the entire late night industry because he got ratings. Everybody else chased him. And now none of them have audiences because it's not comedy anymore. And here's
I agree. Colbert is not funny. If you compared Colbert and Stewart back then, you would have seen that Stewart is a great comedian. Colbert is not. And obviously, it is a downgrade from Letterman to Colbert. That's everybody can see.
a question for everybody out there watching, because I genuinely mean this. Is there any business or any show that has gone woke and actually it has made sense from a business imperative? NBA crashed ratings. Bud Light crashed market share. You just run through the entire litany of brands that decided to go fundamentally anti-Trump. Colbert's the latest. They all fail and alienate their base of people who just wanted to laugh. And maybe, I don't know, maybe he can ride off into the sunset with his buddy Barack Obama.
Well, I don't think he's going to.
Great take, great take. I must agree with what he said right there. I think if a show goes woke, he's probably gonna lose a lot of views, a lot of ratings, and a lot of money in the process. Go woke, go broke.
Yeah, it's very sad. I love Stephen, I love his staff. I love that show. It's incredibly sad. I'm partly excited to see what they're going to do for the next 10 months. But yeah, it's terrible, terrible news for the world of comedy. Late night shows mean a lot to me, not just because I work in them, but because even growing up in England, I would watch Letterman's show, which of course was Stephen's show, and think about what a glamorous world that was. So to have got to have been on Letterman's show and on Stephen's show is always one of the most fun things. So it's very, very, very sad news. I look forward to seeing what he's going to do next, because that.
I look forward to see what he's gonna do next as well, but I don't think anybody is gonna miss him anytime
Another
soon.
one bites the dust. You know, we beat all these guys, my show, and we're only in 61 million homes. CBS reaches nearly 300 million Americans. They don't talk about that. He also had 200 staffers. I employ nothing but teenage runaways. And by the way, I don't even pay them. Ha! Anyway, I love how they claimed it's a financial reason, but everything is a financial reason, right? If you open up a restaurant, you serve lousy food, people stop coming, you close it, you don't say because the food sucked. You said, well, it was a financial reason. But they didn't just they didn't cancel his show. They canceled the whole show.
Yeah.
This was a quote institution, and they said rather than put somebody in his place, they just said we're closing up. I mean, imagine being a chef. You know, you're such a bad chef that they cancel food. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I guess he's less popular than Shingles, but you get this it's so obvious. You can't do a comedy show and a sermon at the same time.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that the whole show was gonna be cancelled, and what are they gonna put in his place? I don't know. If you know, comment down below.
Stephen Colbert's late night talk show has been canceled, and I have a suggestion for a replacement. Me. Hear me out. I'm going to give the reasons why. I don't curse, at least not on camera, and as long as I'm not hungry. So there'll always have to be snacks around. I don't talk politics. If I wanted to argue about something that will never get resolved, I'll talk to my wife about the temperature setting in the house. I'm not a big fan of small talk, so the interviews will be short, leaving plenty of time for doom scrolling and pee breaks. It would be Generation X and Boomer friendly. Even though it's called late night, it usually tapes around 5 p.m., and that would be the time that I demanded that it aired, at least an hour or two before our bedtime. And if you want to see the show live, I would offer giveaways. You get readers, and you get readers, and you get readers. I've been in the comedy business for 25 years, and I've written a funny joke or two. Okay, the two might be an embellishment. Okay, that's my pitch. So to the people making the decisions, I hope you consider me.
Oh man,
Thanks.
This guy was super funny. Great take. Obviously, he listed all the reasons why Stephen Colbert failed, why he got fired, and why his career is basically over. Honestly, it's not that complicated to do much better than Colbert, I believe.
I mean, Brian, you know, CBS is saying this is a financial decision. It is certainly, the timing of this is kind of stunning.
Right, from the optics standpoint, the timing could not be worse for CBS. Colbert is such an outspoken Trump critic. He's just back from vacation, and as he showed there on Monday, on his first night back from vacation, he's also a thorn in his parent company's side. So this looks to a lot of Colbert's fans like another form of capitulation by CBS to the President of the United States.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of Colbert's fans think that, because Colbert's fans occupy only one part of the political spectrum. He pandered overwhelmingly to Trump-hating progressives.
I agree with that one. The left is just hating on Trump and everyone is pandering to them, and it is sad.
This is not how late night used to work, not how it should work. And as Stelter acknowledged later in that segment, the show's losing money, reportedly $40 million a year, and it's not funny. So what's the point? There's a lot of cable TV shows devoted to hating Donald Trump that aren't funny either.
Wow. Imagine
Separately,
spending $40 million a year on a show and seeing it failed and getting canceled in the end. What a huge waste of money.
I've seen Bill Carter quoted in the Washington Post as saying, if CBS thinks are people just going to swallow this, they're really deluded. Some reactions from around the internet. Joe Scarborough said, it's terrible because you had the settlement with Donald Trump and then you had Colbert and Jon Stewart criticizing that decision. Then a week later, they're saying, oh, unfortunately, we don't have the money to continue this. You can make that economic argument, but that economic argument should have been made weeks before this or should have been made a couple months down the road. This just makes it look completely connected with the 60-minute settlement. Senator Elizabeth Warren said CBS canceled Colbert's show just 3 days after Colbert called out CBS parent company Paramount for its $16 million settlement with Trump, a deal that looks like bribery. America deserves to know if his show was canceled for political reasons. Severance actor Adam Scott posted, love you, Stephen. This is absolute BS, and I, for one, am looking forward to the next 10 months of shows. Ben Stiller tweeted, sorry to hear CBS is canceling one of the best shows they have. Wishing all the people who work so hard on that show all the best.
Wow.
Stephanie.
One of the best shows they had, he said. If that was their best show, I don't want to see how the other shows looks like.
It's, as you say, it's been running for such a very, very long time, but Colbert has always been quite outspoken, a strong critic of President Trump. CBS, though, have distanced themselves quite a bit from this. They've stressed this is not a political decision. This is solely down to the numbers at the end of the day.
Well, the timing couldn't have come at a wrong time because it was only maybe 2 days ago where CBS Paramount had settled a lawsuit with Donald Trump for £16 million over what he claims was an edited video with Kamala Harris in an interview. And Stephen Colbert called it frivolous and he said it was a big fat bribe. So this will only happen this week. So a lot of people are saying, has he been a bit too outspoken? Has he pushed it too far this time?
Probably.
I think a lot of networks now, you know, they are trying to control their talent when it comes to aiming such kind of criticism towards political leaders. But, you know, they do say it's a financial decision and nothing about Colbert's personal remarks about Trump.
I think if you're going to criticize the president of the United States, you're going to make a lot of people angry and a lot of people won't watch your show anymore. They're basically going to boycott your whole show. And that's what happened. Nobody watches, you don't make money, and you get cancelled. Easy peasy. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and click right there to watch the next one. Bye-bye.